Hello and good evening, my dear viewers. Welcome back to yet another Getty Life Talk. I welcome you all on behalf of Global Education and Training Institute, and I especially welcome our guest for today, Miss Vijaya Ravi. Miss Vijaya Ravi, she is having a lovely experience of 25 years in this field of education, starting from the grassroots level and steadily she scaled up to the position she is holding today. Currently, she's serving as the principal of Mount Litra Z School, Ratlam, and she has held the similar kind of positions in Eklavya Public School, Junagadh, Gujarat, and head of Social Science Department at Chhotram School, Indore. Prior to that, she was involved in interactions with students at different levels from diverse backgrounds and distinct capabilities have made her sensitized and aware of their growing and development. She strives to bring in noticeable improvement students in areas of effective communication, high order thinking, social etiquettes, and civil behavior. Her endeavor is to make learning lucid, enjoyable, re- re- retentive, and of rich value addition. She strongly believes in student receiving learning thanks free but uploading high standards of discipline and decorum. She is passionate about her profession, considering it noble. So I welcome you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Zainab ma'am. Thank you so much introducing me with such a nice words. So here I am on live. Hello, everybody. Greetings to all the esteemed scholars and viewers. I thank the GETI organizer and Dr. Sunita Gandhi, founder of GETI Disruptive Education Movement, for giving me a chance to express my views on the topic whether detention is effective for students' discipline or not. The topic is really debatable as there are many perspectives with a closer look needed. So, first of all, I just want to share the first slide of mine, that is why discipline is needed. What is discipline actually? What is discipline? Then I will come back to why discipline is needed. First is meaning of discipline we must understand very clearly. Let us make our understanding very clear in this aspect, in this topic. There is no single definition of the word discipline. Discipline has different meanings when applied to different situations. What may be thought of as discipline is one context may not be hold true in the other context. Also, discipline has different interpretations for different people. If A feels discipline is shown through a particular behavior and conduct, B may disagree. I hope you all are agreeing with me, viewers. Discipline in army is different from discipline in sports. In the former, discipline is meant to cultivate loyalty and sacrifice for the nation as the safety and welfare of the countrymen who are in stake. In the latter, discipline is aimed for achieving excellence in the chosen area, so as to bring laurels not only for the individual sportsman but also for the team and the country represented. Discipline in one institution might be just opposite to discipline in another institution in the same locality and region. Each person, family, or an institution has its own ideas of discipline. There is thus no universal ideas of discipline, no single definition of discipline. The question arises, why discipline then? However, there is no ambiguity about discipline being absolutely necessary. If students become sincere and serious towards becoming disciplined, their growth and development would be proper. There is no shortage of example to show how undisciplined students become a threat not only to their homes but also to the community, country, society, and the world's. Students' minds are raw and tender. They become moldable in any way and direction. If there are if they are in the healthy atmosphere where discipline is the key, the result is beneficial. Otherwise, the situation becomes vicious. Isn't a pleasant feeling to see orderliness among students? Just imagine what would be like when students show responsibility, are not required to be supervised, watched, and regulated. There would be no reminder and follow-ups level of punctuality, would be high goals target, deadline would be achieved. All this would be possible only when students uphold discipline in their conduct and living. Thus, for a properly regulated living, discipline is necessary. Just a horse is controlled with proper reining, human being can be controlled with discipline. When combined with duty and determination, discipline leads to stable and steady living. Students' phase is the correct phase to inculcate discipline. My next slide says, is detention effective to bring a discipline in students? Now we come to the heart of the discussion of detention becoming effective to make students discipline. In order to arrive to the conclusion, we need to examine both the sides of the coin. Two conflicting perspectives need to be looked into. Before that, we must know what is meant by detention, a commonly used term. What is detention? Detention is separation, isolation, segregation of an individual from group, association, circle for a specific purpose, for a reason. For example, we separate an infected person from his or her family, community, friends so that the infection does not spread and harm others. As in COVID-19 pandemic, which is referred to as quarantine, an all too familiar expression. In this context, detention would mean separating, isolating the undisciplined students from his or her group friends so that the rest is not influenced adversely. This is a common practice in schools when the teacher's patience is tested and is at the wit's end. The undisciplined student is adamant. He or she refuses to listen and takes pleasure in being undisciplined.
Ma'am, I would like to interrupt you. Your slides are not moving.
Okay.
We are on the slide perception of discipline.
Okay, just a minute.
No problem.
Just a minute. Argument.
No.
Just a minute.
Yes.
Maybe some technical issues.
You can reshare your screen. Just stop sharing and reshare it.
Okay,
No problem.
Just a minute.
Yes, ma'am. Now I can see it.
Now we are going to talk about the argument in support. Argument in support. Yes, it's okay. Whether the step of detention of students is wise or unwise, let us work out the argument that supports detention. Detention and those that oppose detention is being the step needed to enforce discipline. I will put forth argument based on common situations faced by teachers. There are no one size fits all measures. It depends on the situations and context. It depends also on indirect factors like the mindset, family background, peer influence, inherent traits, and so on. Now I'm coming to the support, that is, what cannot be endured has to be cured. Often teachers give a long rope hoping that there would be some improvement shown by undisciplined students. This, that they show leniency at the moment. However, this does not turn out to be productive. This is not a proper way of handling students in discipline. My second point is when students are detained, they realize that things are not normal or usual. They would become uncomfortable. They might give up their erroneous ways. There could be regret and remorse, followed by the resolution that they would mend their ways. Coming to the another point, what is noticeable is that often peers encourage an undisciplined student by sowing seeds of misplaced notions of being heroic. Detention takes care of this aspect is that the student under detention is isolated from other members of the group. This might enable the erring students to mend his or her ways and being in the mainstream. Awareness and sensitization develop. Hopefully, things would work out better with the undisciplined student realizing his or her slippage, turning into a new leaf. The next slide tells about the opposing of the flip side of the topic. Is detention all necessary to inculcate discipline? Can't there be better ways? Wouldn't detention be a rash and thoughtless step and serious repercussion? What if the objectives of bringing the disciplines are not fulfilled constructively? These are troubling questions. These are troubling questions that need to be addressed. Detention appears to be harsh and severe. There could be better options, humanitarian approaches, and a kind handling that would be more fruitful. Since detention involves isolation, a sort of quarantine, the students might not adopt himself or herself to this treatment favorably. The responses could be misdirected, which is not desired. Is that slide moving, ma'am? Detention might create great stress on the mental and emotional plane, which could result in complication. Research and studies have shown such an approach to be damaging and destructive both for student and other around him or her.
Ma'am, this is the argument wala slide, argument in support of detention. It
Yeah,
has
that is what I'm seeing that the slide problem is going on.
no problem. Ma'am, आप flip करके देखिए. You flip it.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Argument.
Argument opposing detention.
Okay, just a minute. Argument. Argument in support of opposing. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute. Just a minute.
Ma'am, it is fine. Now
Yeah,
you can start
understood,
talking.
understood, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Now I'm
Ma'am,
coming to the argument opposing detention.
yes, ma'am, it is there visible on your screen.
Yes, 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 yes. Is detention all that necessary to inculcate discipline? Can't there be better ways? Would detention be a rash and a thoughtless step with serious repercussions? What if the objectives of bringing in discipline are not fulfilled constructively? There are troubling questions that need to be addressed. Detention appears to be harsh and severe in the beginning. There could be better option, humanitarian approaches and a kind handling that would be more fruitful. Since detention involves isolation, a sort of quarantine, the student might not adapt himself or herself to this treatment favorably. The responses could be misdirected, which is not desired. Detention might create great stress on the mental and emotional plane, which could result in the complications subsequently. Research and studies have shown such an approach to be damaging and destructive both the student and other around him or her. Instead of reforming the student, detention will have psychological issues which would have only going to worsen the situation, which would result the abnormal growth. Such a student would be either shy, timid, lack of self-confidence, or a hardcore rebel or full of hostility. But the question comes, if detention is to be there or not to be there, discipline has to be there or not to be there, for that, what then is the way out? There is some solutions, there are some kind of resolutions, some kind of answers, replies are still there. That is, detention and discipline appears to be related, but they are not. Both look same. Detention is effective provided it is used judiciously. Initially, a strict approach is needed. Detention is only a short-term measure. Soft and tender handling would be effective. With good counseling, only then can discipline be inculcated. Detention thus becomes the knife in the hands of the surgeon where miracle happens, and in the hands of the butcher, it causes havoc. I think I have completed my topics here with a very uh, short and crispy manner. Here I am going to end it, my topics, ma'am. So this is what I want to speak related with the topic. I hope the viewers have understood, the message has given to them in a very short manner.
Yes, ma'am. It is like very crisp and very clear. You were very clear in what you wanted to say. And what I want to ask, so what is your view on this? Detention should
I
be
am
done or it
I
shouldn't
am
be?
always lenient with my students. I want my students should enjoy with me. Yes, of course, some messages are given to them in a very loving manner. I have never scolded the students, scolded that too, they have taken it in a very positive way. And there I feel that yes, I had gone in a proper manner when I was a teacher or mentor. And still, I keep counseling the students. Sometimes they say, teachers, they say that, ma'am, when we send the students, they are very scary to enter the office. When they come out from the office, they are having a smiling face. That's
Yes,
all.
ma'am. So that is a quality that you have as as a school leader, because every time you imagine a school leader or a school principal, you have those jitters and shivers that we are going to see the principal, so it must be something really cruel kind of a thing. But
Mm.
yeah, detention is not effective At least nowadays kids are very
No.
different nowadays, and until and unless you are friendly with them, they won't allow you, or they won't do things which you want them to do, until and unless you develop a empathy or a rapport with them. You won't get that things done, and they won't understand the importance of maybe doing a particular exercise, working in collaboration. That's why we are even promoting collaborative learning amongst them, so they understand each other's feeling and they don't misbehave, and they are disciplined by themselves only.
I used to create a kind of, work activity. The students, those who are really very much, can say that, uh, they want so many things to be done. I know they are not in proper discipline. They are disturbing the class. I used to create a kind of activities for them. I used to call them. I used to make them monitor. I used to give a leadership. They are actually leaders, actually. That is why their energy is not properly channelized. That is why they gain a kind of center of attraction. So for them, if you make them engage, I think the class will not get disturbed. I have not seen that I have made any student out of the class, or just neglecting them. I never did that. I never did that.
So this is the technique, my dear viewers and my dear teachers and school leaders who are listening to us or who will listen to us after we finish this talk. A very good advice from Miss Vijaya Ravi, that you should always involve each and every child in the class, and especially the hyperactive one, whom like they are trying to disturb the class, not in the notion to disturb it, but to gain the attention of the teacher and the classmates. So, if you give them due attention and if you give them due respect, they will not be the spoil sport, but they will be the leaders of the class. Right, ma'am?
Perfectly, perfectly. And
So,
each students are so loving students. I can't tell. I can't express my words.
you have been through that, so it has been
Yeah.
shown on your face.
Yes.
All right,
And
so
students
with
still
this,
remember me.
uh, Hmm. With this, we would like to end our talk today. Thank you so much, my dear viewers, and thanks a bunch, Vijaya ma'am. It was a
Thank you
very
so much.
enlightening
Thank you,
and
Anushka.
very knowledgeable session. So, with this, on behalf of Global Education and Training Institute, I would like to thank you all. As we all know, that Global Education and Training Institute is working towards transformation of education. And how do we transform? We transform by uh, giving new trainings, and so do visit our website and call on the number given on our website for our upcoming trainings for the summer season. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Have a good
The
evening.
opportunity
Bye
which is
bye.
given to me is, I really appreciate that this way even I must grow. Even I want to tell you, my principals whom I have worked, they still guiding me. I am really, I can say that, fortunate that I worked with some principals, and I still remember, I still keep learning with their guidance and all.
That is the
Very
quality of
thankful
a
for that.
true leader. You keep on learning. You keep even learning from your students.
True, very
Learning
true,
can
very
be
true.
done anywhere.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much, ma'am. Thank you. Namaskar.